I mean, there's been a couple of extensions. I mean, there's been a couple of trades. I think they want to talk about it. I think the hockey people want to talk about it. Okay, I think it's about time for another episode. I think I got to come back. It's oh, WeCake'n, that is me. Good evening, everybody. This is another episode of my Netcast. This is the time where I come back in a little bit more of a one-on-one, so to say, feeling where we just talk hockey. We just talk hockey. We talk about the updates in the NHL. We talk maybe a little PWHL. Maybe talk a little bit of World Juniors. Maybe talk a little bit of Olympics. Tonight, we're going to focus on the NHL. We're going to focus on the NHL tonight. Now, first of all, welcome back, everybody. I am WeCake'n. I am the most exciting hockey personality here, and I'm excited to talk to all of you about this hockey stuff. Now, I'm just going to start hopping right into things. So, this episode, lots of trades. You want this thing? I'll give you that thing. Deal. Yeah, well, some of these deals aren't that great. Some of these deals are pretty cool. And for some teams and for some other teams, they're just like, man, well, that sucked. So let's start out with in my opinion, my personal favorite. Vegas Golden Knights, Calgary Flames trade. Essentially, the Vegas Golden Knights end up trading one of their last kind of, I don't want to say inaugural pieces, but one of their pieces that took them to their first cup. Now, I won't necessarily say that without this player, they wouldn't have gotten the cup. But this player bought into the system, was a valued member of the team, and he did help bring Vegas to that Stanley Cup champion. With Vegas and the Calgary Flames, they actually have done business before. A couple years ago, Noah Hannafin, he was also a part of the Flames. Flames got rid of him a couple years. I believe he extended with Vegas pretty quickly. So they got Noah Hannafin. A couple years later, the Flames aren't burning in a good way at all. We'll say that. They are awful, and they've been an embarrassment. Honestly, since that Matthew Tkachuk trade for Jonathan Huberdeau, and of course they got Mackenzie Weegar alongside it. Dude, not looking good. Not looking good at all for the Flames. The Flames have been struggling and struggling bad. They just can't seem to get superstar. They can't seem to get their talent to work with one another. It just seems the chemistry is completely off. Golden Knights trade Zach Whitecloud. So here's the trade. Golden Knights acquire defenseman Rasmus Anderson from the Calgary Flames in exchange for defenseman Zach Whitecloud, a prospect called Abraham Weeby, a conditional 2027 first round pick, and a conditional second round pick in 2028. So the Golden Knights are giving up a lot. The Calgary Flames are just in this rut where they can't get anything going. Like I said, Jonathan Huberdeau was supposed to replace Matthew Tkachuk, this blockbuster deal. Jonathan Huberdeau just came off I think it was a 111-point season for the Florida Panthers. And the Calgary Flames were showing some promise. Well, what ended up happening is that the Calgary Flames completed this trade and just slowly started to whimper out. I don't even know. Do they still have Nazem Kadri? I think they have Nazem. They just now, of course, in this trade, the Flames are retaining 50% of Anderson's $4.55 million cap hit. So Vegas Golden Knights giving that first round pick, that conditional first and second, that made the Flames retain the salary. So having the Flames retain the salary is going to allow the Vegas Golden Knights to either make more moves or, like they said, bring back Braden McNabb without having to do anything else with the roster. The conditional second round pick upgrades to a first if Vegas wins the Stanley Cup this season. While Anderson helped that happen, you also have to take into consideration hasn't extended yet. So he's currently on this contract of pretty much a year left, it sounds like. And once this contract fizzles out, this guy's a free agent. It means he's going to move to he could move to another team without Vegas Golden Knights getting anything back. So huge important thing the Vegas Golden Knights have to take into consideration if they cannot convince Rasmus Anderson to sign, which honestly, when you look at some of these teams in the South and you look at their rosters, you're like, why wouldn't you sign? I think Vegas Golden Knights is just one of the funniest teams ever because all they do is take all the all-star talent from other teams and they're like, all right, what if we just took all your best players and put them together? That's when I feel like the Vegas Golden Knights. They make a deal with every time you go to Vegas, you're making the deal to you're going here to win and nothing else. You are coming here to win. You want to win, you're going to win, and that's going to be what happens in the hockey game. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, I think they acquired a really important piece. Next, we'll talk about the Buffalo Sabres. Now, of course, the Buffalo Sabres, they're the team that everyone loves to dump on. But recently, they've been making others respect them a lot more. They've made a lot of other teams bow down to them in a couple of recent weeks. So the Buffalo Sabres, of course, went on like this 14 and like 4, 14 and 3 streak where they won 14, lost 3 games. Now they're feeling more confident. And to be honest, if you're the Sabres, you got to lock these players up when you can. Now, some of these contracts might be outrageous for young players and for players that don't really feel super proven. But I think if you're the Sabres, you're in a really weird situation because 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the season, you had Tage Thompson, you had Alex Tuck saying, if you guys don't figure this out, if we don't figure this out as an organization, I'm gone. And of course, Alex Tuck was the big piece that they got in the Jack Eichel trade. Imagine if both Jack Eichel and Alex Tuck got disgruntled with the franchise. They're like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with these guys. I don't want anything to do with these guys. These guys are gross. Ew, 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 ew. Imagine if that happened, right? That'd be really that would be a very unique circumstance where it's like, coincidence? Maybe. Who knows, man? So I think when you look at the Sabres right now, I think they are trying to ride the lightning. I think they're feeling the wave. I think they're feeling great about themselves right now, even though those 14 wins is the amount of years that they haven't been in the playoffs for 14 straight seasons. Buffalo Sabres signed Josh Doan to a 7-year, $48.65 million contract, averaging about $6.95 million a year. Numbers are hard tonight, everybody. So $6.95 million a year. Wow. Pretty decent paycheck. Now, 7 million kind of used to be what a lot of like 30 goal scorers, like 25 goal scorers would get. Like, all right, we're going to give you 7 million. And then they'd reserve the 10 million for the Crosbys, for your S tier hockey players, your Kucherovs. As of right now, I believe he has 15 goals and 20 assists in 51 games. So he's proven that he's got potential. But again, what a lot of young players have shown in the NHL is I would be really interested to see a list of players that have gotten 25 goals for maybe a season or two and now are just a blip. They don't exist. Now, this next trade is with the Sharks and the Canucks. The Sharks trade 2 second-round picks for a AHL defenseman called Cole Clayton and Kiefer Sherwood. Now, here's the thing. Kiefer Sherwood is a 30-year-old player who's coming off a league record 462 hits from the 24-25 season. And so far this season has 17 goals in 44 games with a league-leading 210 hits. So he's a physical presence and he scores goals. Kiefer Sherwood's a big guy. Now, the big thing that you got to take into consideration, he is 30 years old, so he might get a lot more banged up than other players, and he could get banged up a lot quicker. So honestly, I thought Kiefer Sherwood was a really great player. I watched him play in the Canucks. I was like, why aren't these teams interested in him? Honestly, I'm more of a Connor Garland fan, but Kiefer Sherwood I thought had so much potential and has a lot of potential. I mean, you look at Marchand, he's 37 years old. He's got 25 goals or so this season. Don't discount older players. Especially don't discount older players that might not have a lot of experience in the league, meaning that some of those older players might play with a lot more tenacity. Some of these players might be diving. They might be making more outrageous plays because they're like, oh my gosh, I finally got to the league. I'm not going back to the AHL. That's a non-option. I'm not going back to the AHL. So take that into consideration with this trade. I think the Sharks being buyers is weird. Really, really weird. The Sharks are supposed to be like okay with having heartbreaks right now. They should be used to having heartbreaks. It's Celebrini's second season. Season 3, season 4, maybe? Maybe 3. You start arming him. Maybe you get him a weapon. You're like, all right, you got 40 goals this season. We'll get you an all-star defenseman. Hey, you got 50 goals this season. We'll get you an all-star winger. And I think if the Winnipeg Jets continue to do poorly, Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele could be going places. Now, talking about injuries, Kitties, the Florida Panthers activate both Matthew Tkachuk and Brad Marchand. Now, Marchand wasn't as long. Of course, Tkachuk was like most of the season. They activate Tkachuk, and he played his very first game this weekend. Now, it sounds like Marchand, when he came back, it was against the Minnesota Wild. Oh, man, and Marchand scored twice. Marchand scored twice that game. And honestly, personally to me, disgusting. That team is so talented. Honestly, if Barkov actually does come back this season, that is a scary weapon for the Panthers to just gain. And I'll be honest, I miss the LTIR loophole. I think that loophole is great. I like super teams. I don't care that teams had to cheat to do it. I don't care. Don't care. It made certain teams a lot more exciting to watch. I was enamored watching the super powered Tampa Bay Lightning just zap teams, zap, 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 as they would just crush teams with thunderous slap shots and just shock them. I mean, just watching these teams stand there shocked as the puck slammed past them. The Kraken, who were kind of talking about like, oh, maybe they want to get involved in some of these trades, maybe they don't want to get involved into some of these trades. Maybe they're interested in pushing for the Stanley Cup. Maybe they understand they don't have enough tools and it would be foolish. Well, apparently they have announced, or it is now league known, that they have shopped or are open to shopping Shane Wright. Shane Wright was their 4th overall pick in 2022, who was rumored to go 1st overall for years, months. He doesn't. Juraj Slavkowski ends up going 1st overall. Not Shane Wright. Juraj Slavkowski ends up going 1st overall, not Shane Wright. And so that's kind of been a smear on his person. Well, not to mention he did not impress the Kraken when he played with them. And now he's just not getting the ice time. It sounds like he's only got 7 goals and 11 assists in 51 games. And he's barely getting 14 minutes of ice time. So this is just one of those times where you can see a team is starting to give up on a player. Like, hey, you've got a lot of opportunity, but now we're at the point to where we don't want to keep feeding you. We don't want to keep giving you shots, or we don't want to keep putting you in the power play if our team just makes no progress. Honestly, this is a team that should have gotten rid of a lot of their players so that they could be bad, so that Shane Wright could shine. They should have pulled up a lot of AHL guys and say, all right, this is an AHL team wearing an NHL jersey. You want to wear this jersey? Do good. You don't, we can bring it back down and hire a veteran in your presence. But that's what the Kraken should have done. And now they're in this weird, we're good, but we're not good. And our prospects are good, but they're not good. Beniers is pretty good, is talented. Wright might just not have the best support group. Last season, it sounds like he had 19 goals and 25 assists in 79 games. I mean, it shows he can do something, but that's just, you want better. You want better, you need better out of that 4th overall pick. They need points. And if you're talking about points, Nathan MacKinnon just reached his 11th 100-point milestone. Sounds like he recorded 2 goals and an assist against the Capitals to become the 10th active player to hit 1,100 points. 1,100 points. Passing Peter Stastny for the second most multi-point games in Avalanche/Nordiques history with 314. He also commented that he isn't enjoying his milestones yet because he wants to keep winning cups. He knows that, hey, as a great, you need at least 2 cups to your name. You need 2 cups to your name to be respected. You really do. In order for people to look at you as you are a wonder, a spectacle, it's 2 cups. It's 2 cups. Now, of course, the Avalanche, having that disgusting schedule, have shown some cracks in their armor. They have shown some crevasses. Ha 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 ha, mountain joke. The Avalanche were doing so great, and honestly, even if they lose a couple of games, I think you just start to overanalyze things. It's like, oh my gosh, the Avalanche are losing. What's going on? You can't do that to the Avalanche. They're a talented team. They're okay to lose some games. It's gonna happen. Some nights you just don't have it, right? But this team, they're probably gonna at least get to the conference final. I'm not sure though. I'm not sold. I'm not sold. Show me a series. Show me this team battling the Golden Knights. Show me this team battling a hungry Ducks, a hungry Sharks. I'm not sure. Sure, those teams are pretty low right now. Show me it. Some of these hungry younger teams, they have a lot. First time in the playoffs, they have a lot more to fight for than a team that is trying to that may have been there already. Some of these teams that haven't been there, they might be fighting a lot harder. And it's also they have a lot more shock and awe, right? Because the bright lights, oh my gosh, I've never been here before. Man, I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to put all my effort into it. Versus maybe a more veteran player who might be like, I know how it feels to be here. Don't get too excited. Just walk in, play my game, and that's how we're going to try to bring the cup home. So the Avalanche, McKinnon, he's going to keep hitting milestones. He's such a talented player. Brock Nelson's been an exciting addition to that team. He's really breathed, I thought, added an extra breath of talent into that team. I feel like there's maybe a couple other tweaks that the team can maybe do. I think Brock Nelson is decent, but it just feels like they need somebody hungry. I like McKinnon because he feels really aggressive. I wonder what the Avalanche would look like if they brought in a player like Brady Tkachuk. A spark plug. What if they brought in Brady Tkachuk and say Connor Garland? Some players that have a lot of skip to their step. Some players that could be proven to be deadly. So that's something I feel like should be considered. Should be considered. All right. Now we're going to talk about the January hat trick record. Apparently, Bouchard, Marchment, Caulfield got the 21st, 22nd, 23rd hat trick of January. Apparently defeating the most hat tricks done in the month, which was previously done in 88 and 84, which was 21 hat tricks. So Bouchard had a hat trick, which includes 6 points and a 6-5 win over the Capitals. That means he participated on every single goal. Not bad. Also feels good when he's on your fantasy. Marchment hat trick sounds like it led the Columbus Blue Jackets to an 8-5 win against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So the Tampa Bay Lightning were on a pretty aggressive win streak. Caulfield sounds like he had one in a Montreal loss to Boston, which was 4-3, but it still felt good that Caulfield could get that. And Bouchard again, what a beauty. 6 points and a hat trick. Not only did he help everybody else, he's like, you know what? I'll help the team, but I'm also going to score just as many as the team. Every time another person scored, he's like, oh, I want to score. Oh, I want to score too. That looks like fun. I'm going to score too. He made his first return to Chicago. Of course, Jonathan Toews won 3 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks. Made his first ever return back to Chicago. And right now it sounds like he's got 18 points in 47 games after being away for 2 years. With the Blackhawks, he had 1,067 games with 883 points. And like I said, 3 Stanley Cup championships. He has 9 points in his last 12 games. So he might. Who knows? The Winnipeg Jets were getting thrashed, but maybe they'll surge. They're not a bad team, just had a really bad 3 weeks. Okay, bad month. Now Mitch Marner returned to Toronto, where he faced off against his old Maple Leafs team. Well, first they came to town in Vegas, where the Golden Knights ended up defeating them in overtime. I think it was a 6-5 win with Jack Eichel. Thomas Hurl was in the slot tying the game, but it was Jack Eichel that ended up winning the game. Now, Vegas Golden Knights go to Toronto, where Mitch Marner gets booed every single time he touches the puck. Mitch Marner gets a video tribute, of course. He gets the stick taps. But you could tell that players on Toronto, like Matthews, is just trying to move on. He's like, hey, this sucks. I don't like this feeling, but I have to just compete. I have to just play. I have to just do my job. Only way this is just what I got to do. Just what I got to do. So honestly, it was a really cool game watching Marner come back. Now, of course, Marner has a huge $12 million a year contract with the Vegas Golden Knights, becoming one of the highest paid players in NHL history. And it was just one of these weird things with Mitch Marner, where he did a lot for the Maple Leafs as far as making them competitive. But now without Mitch Marner, they're just kind of dogging on him, saying, we didn't need you, blah, 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 blah. I think the trade helped out both teams. Honestly, I think it really helped Mitch Marner out a lot more. Because now you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and like, hey, we got rid of this piece. But now you look at Mitch Marner being so successful as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights are a team that you could say, oh, yeah, they could compete for the Stanley Cup. You look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and you wonder if they're going to go through another rebuild. You wonder what's going to go on with the team. You wonder, are they going to keep Tavares, Nylander, and Matthews? What are they going to do? And honestly, if they do move on from another one of these core four, this is going to go down as one of the biggest busts, one of the biggest fumbles in sports history. To have four talented players like those gentlemen, and for you to not find a way to pay. I mean, you essentially are paying four players $40 million out of your $70 million cap, $76 million cap. They're over half your hit for these four players, and they're not winning you games. The rest of the team can't figure it out. Yikes. So then you start getting rid of these players, and then the identity of the team gets lost. And now those gaps are huge to fill. You're not just going to trade Mitch Marner for who do they get? I don't even remember what they even got for Mitch Marner or if they even got anything, but like Nick Waugh, I don't remember, dude. You look at what the Maple Leafs have and what they're doing right now, and it's just nothing. It's just nothing compared to what the Vegas Golden Knights have. They literally gave Mitch Marner an out. They're like, hey, you want to play for a team that's a lot less toxic than ours, has a better fan base, and has won a Stanley Cup in the last 4 years? Yeah, sure. I would too. I would too. All right, everyone, let's round out the night. Evan Bouchard's historic 6-point game as the Oilers beat the Washington Capitals in overtime. Bouchard recorded a hat trick and 3 assists in his 400th NHL game. What a way to do it, Bouchard. Like I said, it sounds like he did assist McDavid as they tied the game with 32 seconds left, as I read in my notes. Third defenseman in Oilers history with a 6-point game, and the fourth to score a hat trick for the franchise. Of course, probably other players like Coffey, and I apologize, I don't know all of Oilers history. But of course, mention some of those other Oiler greats. Beautiful, beautiful. And then, let's see here. He has as many goals in that game as some of the notable defensemen have all season. So, Bouchard, the Oilers have been hot and cold. I think the Oilers are at the point right now where they're really going to be able to compete. I think that other teams are really going to have to start to respect them. And I think for the Oilers, it's the right place, right time. I think if you're the Oilers, you're ready to compete. You're ready to get back in there. You're ready for people to start respecting you. You want to get back to that Stanley Cup final. You lost 2 cups back to back. You're not losing a third. You're not losing a third. And with Bouchard, I think that's going to help. Everyone, this Netcast has gone on for the longest. I got really talking this time, so I appreciate everyone for staying by, staying active, and of course, listening. Now, of course, in the comments below, tell me what you think about what's been going on in the NHL. Is there anything you want to ask me? Is there anything you want to talk to WeCake'n about when it comes to hockey? I'm all hockey. Let's talk some hockey. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that button to support me. That like button supports me a lot too. So you whack that like button, you whack that subscribe button, you hit a follow, you're supporting WeCake'n, and that means everything to me. So everybody, we're gonna watch a hockey pack get open. I thank everybody for being here tonight. This is WeCake'n. Let's watch that hockey pack opening. All right, everybody. Like I said, we're going to open up a pack of hockey cards. I know it's really hard to see. You just see this big old bin. Well, I'm going to reach in this big old bin and pick out a pack of hockey cards. And we will open that pack of hockey cards because that is our tradition that we do here on WeCake'n Netcast. Ooh, credentials. Our first credentials pack. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is our first credentials pack. There's only 8 packs of credentials per box, unlike medals where there's like 15. So Metal Universe, we just end up getting a ridiculous amount of the same packs. And you just get a lot of insert cards. Well, credentials, I'm really hyped to open. This is actually one of the sets I was the most excited for. Got some easels here. We'll get some closer. My cards stand. We'll see how it shimmers in the light. WeCake'n! Hope everybody enjoyed today's Netcast. Just a lot of trades, a lot of movement, a lot of extensions. A lot of teams thinking that they're gonna make pushes. A lot of teams saying, forget about it. We're no good. All right. Credentials. New York Islanders. Bo Horvat. Adam Fox of the New York Rangers. Not an Olympian. Sidewinder. We got a Sidewinder. Connor Jesus. Milestone pucks. On November 19th, 2016, McJesus netted his first NHL hat trick in his 64th game for the Oilers. Took him 64 games to get his first hat trick. McJesus! What a cool card. And it has a fun little tidbit on it. Do you think we'll get anything else? It's pink. It's probably just numbered. Goaltender, New York. We got Shesterkin. Ooh, 32 out of 99. Igor Shesterkin. New York Rangers. That is a cool looking card. Put our Jesus right here. Numbered. Igor Shesterkin. That's pretty cool. That's probably my best Shesterkin that I own. Awesome. Think that might be it for our hits. 37. Andrei Svechnikov. Andrei Svechnikov. And who will finish it off? 91. Kane. Kadri. Nazim Kadri. So surprisingly enough, there was not really any players that we really spoke about in today's Netcast either. But I got some exciting cards to share with the world. Connor McDavid with his first hat trick, and Igor Shesterkin. Let's see what they call it. A pink. It's just a pink numbered out of 99. Oh, and I just noticed it. We're one off of jersey number. 32 out of 99. He's 31. Well, It's still really cool. Probably, like I said, my best Shesterkin. It's been a long Netcast, everybody. You have a great night, and I'll see you at the next WeCake'n Netcast. Good night.